So we now have episode 21 of the 10th season of The Walking Dead. This episode is called Diverged, and if you haven't seen this episode yet and you don't want to get anything spoiled for you, do not watch this review because this review is going to contain full spoilers for the episode. So this episode takes place right after episode 18 when Daryl and Carol have their little bit of a fight where Daryl says stuff that he definitely means, but it was, in a way, it was quite harsh. But the way he said at the end of episode 18 was that he's annoyed at Carol because she pretty much could have killed Connie because he doesn't know if she's dead or alive. He thinks she's very selfish. Everything she said in episode 18, this episode takes up place right after that episode, where we see Daryl and Carol go their own separate ways. She makes her way back to Alexandria. Dog actually goes with her, and Daryl makes his way out, just kind of going out looking for supplies, probably looking for Connie and Rick if he could on this little journey he goes out on. When Carol goes back to Alexandria, all she does is just kind of hang around. We get to see Jerry again, which is quite cool. We haven't seen him since season 10, of course, but episode 16, the actual finale of season 10. We get to see him. He's kind of just going about, he's kind of cleaning up a bit. Everyone's just in and around Alexandria cleaning up, because if you look at it, it is a mess. It's the whole town as a whole looked filthy. Everything's just ramsacked all over the place. But Carol's asking what she can do. Is there anything she can do to help? Like she suggests helping rebuild a wall. It's already been taken care of. Helping clean the dead fish out of the fish pond. Of course, that's already been taken care of. So she says she'll make a soup. And the episode is about Carol making her soup, trying to kill a rat, and that's pretty much it. Carol's storyline throughout this episode, you see, as I said, you see her, she makes a rat cage to try and catch a rat. She breaks a wall to bits trying to catch the rat. She goes out looking for food so she can make her soup. She makes her soup. She repairs one of the solar panels so she can have electricity to make her soup. She starts talking to Dog about how she thinks that she's got no real purpose here. Will she just leave just to get out of people's way? So Carol is doing the same thing she's been doing ever since season 4, where she just knows she should stay, or should she go? And it wasn't really kind of resolved in this episode if she should stay or should she go. Carol's kind of storyline, not only in this episode but as a whole, I'm kind of just getting a bit fed up with it. The whole Carol of a character now, I'm just getting fed up with her. She just really, I feel like in this episode in particular, she really showed that she doesn't really have a purpose. Even if you look back on season 7 and 8, she really had no purpose in the all-out war storyline. She really was a sideline character. And then of course in episode season 9, she was of course with Ezekiel, so she was the mother of Henry. In season 10, she wanted to get revenge on Henry, but I feel like the only reason they brought her up so prominent of a character in season 9 and 10 was because she was Daryl and Carol were the only ones in season 1. So I just feel like they really just don't know what to do with Carol anymore, and they're really just kind of doing anything they can just to have her still there. I know that she's giving a spin-off, of course, but honestly I wouldn't care if Carol died at this stage. I've lost all interest in the character. I loved the character for years, but at this stage I feel like she's just played out and she just really doesn't serve much of a purpose within the story anymore. We got Daryl's storyline as well, where he's going out looking for supplies. His bike breaks down. I don't know what happened to his bike. I assume it was tampered with, but I don't know how or who or whatever happened to it. But one of his wires kind of snapped, so he's looking through a couple of cars looking for a cable, whatever the cable does, to fix his bike. Finds the cable, remembers he gave his Swiss Army knife to Carol, so he can't replace it. So then he goes against these walkers, who he finds these soldiers that had a screwdriver he needed to be able to fix it. And that was kind of Daryl's storyline too as well. That was quite boring, but it was cool to just be with Daryl because I'm a Daryl fan. But it was cool to see the soldiers seeing the whole outfit. But all other than that, Daryl's storyline too was quite boring. As a whole, the episode was extremely boring. I wouldn't say it's as boring as episode 20, last week's episode, because at least this we are with Daryl. I am a fan of Daryl. Even though I said I'm not a massive fan of Carol anymore, I still like the character, so it's cool to see more Carol. We do get to see Jerry, as I said, and I fucking love Jerry. No matter what is happening or what any mood anyone is in, Jerry is just such a bubbly, happy, kind person that he's so kind, makes you so happy just to watch him on screen. He's so likable. I'd hate to see Jerry die. I'd love to see him be one of the characters that survives the entirety of the series. So like starting, he came in episodes or season 7. I hope he survives all of The Walking Dead just because he's such a likable guy. I'd hate to see him actually die. But as a whole, this episode is 100% filler. It is a filler episode like episode 20. Now, I wouldn't say it's one of the worst. Like, I would probably even say episode 20 is the worst episode of The Walking Dead ever. But 21, I wouldn't say it is the worst. It's definitely one of the worst because I feel like it doesn't serve a purpose in the story. Like if you took this episode out and however episode 22 picks up, I actually don't even know how it's going to pick up. I know episode 22 is Here's Negan. I'm so fucking excited for that episode. But I imagine 22 is just going to pick up. Daryl and Carol are still going to have a little bit of, like, they're still fighting because in this episode it's not resolved. Daryl is back in Alexandria now, but it's not resolved. They're fighting, they're still fighting. So you could literally just watch 22 and skip over 21 because it serves no purpose whatsoever. Nothing is changed in this episode. Nothing is done in this episode. This is a complete filler episode and you can 100% skip over this episode and nothing will change. Same with 20. You could skip over the episode and you can literally just pick up whatever the next episode of the Commonwealth storyline is, and they're just making their way there, and you could literally take as, okay, they were captured in 21 or 16, and then by 20 they were making their way to it. So they can literally skip over episode 20 and 21 could be completely skipped over. In fairness, all these episodes can be skipped over, but at least within episode 18, the Daryl storyline, you get some great Daryl moments, stuff that I feel like will come back around. Episode 19, I'm assuming you could skip over, but I really, really like that episode. So it's the whole Robert Patrick and the what's it called, Russian roulette kind of storyline. Really loved that episode. Episode 20, 21, 100% you can skip over. 21, honestly, massively disappointing episode. I was kind of hoping it'd be a good solid episode because of course Daryl and Carol, but honestly it's a skippable episode. I'm not excited on rewatching this episode. I said in my review episode 20, when the season comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to be buying it and rewatching the entirety of the series with my girlfriend because she has actually not seen season 10 yet, but I'm in no hurry to go back and watch episode 21. Really excited for episode 22 though, so if you want to hear my review of episode 22, which will be dropping next week, make sure you click the subscribe button and come back and watch my review of Here's Negan. I've said for years, I would love to see Here's Negan as a movie. I still think it would have worked better as a movie, because I don't think they could fully tell Negan's backstory in a 42-minute episode, especially because it's not going to be just his backstory. It's going to be jumping to and from where we are now to the past. I imagine it's inevitable we will get a Negan spin-off series. I think it's going to be the what's the Negan, I can't remember, whatever the Negan kind of mini volume we got last year, the issue, whatever that was called. I can't even remember what it's called, but I imagine we will get a spin-off series of Negan kind of giving his backstories built, because I don't think this is going to be how he made the Saviors. I think this Here's Negan is just going to be telling the love story of Negan and Lucille. I see they're just going to be surviving the apocalypse a bit together, and then the whole episode is going to end with her death, and then we will see in either a spin-off series or a movie of telling Negan coming to save. I imagine that is what we're going to get. But if you want to hear my takes on that episode next week, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can go back and watch my review of episode 22, the actual series finale of The Walking Dead season 10. That'll be dropping next week, so if you want to hear that, click that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.